It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Senate President Pro Temp Jonathan Dismang, quote, about these Bob Bailey Facebook posts like a Confederate battle flag, and like criticizing Charles Blake because he wants to ban how many bullets you can buy, or criticizing Pine Bluff as being a crime, having a crime problem, or posting buttons of his high school mascot, that in 78, 79, a phrase that was totally fine and acceptable. He just posted a photo of old buttons. That'd be like somebody, posting a Jumpin' Joe from Arkansas State University that's now banned by the NCAA, posting that on their Facebook, and now it's like, you're no longer qualified to be an Arkansas politician. Give me a break. Go take a hike. You guys, double standard hypocrites. Jonathan Dismang said this: "My initial reaction is disappointment. Bailey needs to accept responsibility and have a conversation with the people in that district about the posts he made." You guys remember Jake Files? All last year, Jake Files, everybody knew he was guilty, even before the sworn FBI affidavit. Not a word of protest from Doyle Webb, from Asa Hutchinson, from President of the Pro Temp of the Senate, Jonathan Dismang, about their buddy Jake Files. Not a word. They didn't ask him to resign. They didn't say a thing. And you're telling me these little 4 Facebook posts that the mainstream media hit job is done? You're telling me all of a sudden now Jonathan Dismang feels like he's got the moral high ground here, that he's got the moral compass? He needs to apologize to the people in that district. You're a complete joke. You are a complete joke. Every one of you. You guys you have no shame. You look at the truth as it's something that you can manipulate. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the truth. You can't manipulate the truth. The truth is what it is. You guys are lying. You are misleading people. And your hypocrisy is on display for anyone who wants to continue to consume Conduit News Radio and other products like it, because we are addressing stuff that no one else is addressing. You tell me, you think you would hear anybody that would remind you that the Republican Party of Arkansas and Governor Asa Hutchinson would not demand for Jake Files' resignation when everybody in this state knew he was guilty before the FBI affidavit came out? But the FBI affidavit came out 6 months ago. Under penalty of perjury, an FBI agent to obtain a search warrant laid out all the crimes he's just pled guilty to 2 weeks ago. Not a word from the RPA. And now all of a sudden, Bob Bailey. You posted a Confederate battle flag on your Facebook page. Oh, man. In protest when they were going around tearing down Confederate statues and trying to edit history to end disagreements now, which is impossible. It's not going to happen. These people are hypocrites. And they're only doing this because I'm telling you, is it not amazing what it's all because of the private option. The private option has destroyed the Republican Party in this state. The private option, Arkansas Works, has completely destroyed any idea or concept of unity in this state. If you don't think they're going to these ends in an effort to save a $2 billion a year program, you are lying to yourself. You know, one thing we don't talk about enough, you guys know State Representative Richard Womack. He is one of the good guys. And I say that, because you want people who are just honest with you. I'm not saying that there's not anything that Representative Richard Womack, that me and him would never disagree on anything, right? But back in 2013, and Richard Womack, State Representative Womack, is from the, is it the Hot Springs area down there? Somewhere. I think that's around where he's from. And he went on record that back in 2013, he was offered a bribe to vote for Mike Beebe's private option, the Democrats' private option, Obama's, Obamacare, along with the slim minority of Republicans that they got to go along with the Democrats, because the Republicans had a very slim majority in the House. and he went on record and essentially, go read the comments that was up at the ArkansasProject.com. I'm sure the article's still there. It's back from, 2013 or 2014. And he was offered a bribe, according to him. They offered to secure his campaign funds, and they offered to make sure he'd have no opponent in the on the Democratic ticket for like 2 or 3 terms, 2 or 3 election cycles. Now you tell me what kind of, and I'm told it was lobbyists. Now you tell me what kind of lobbyist, what kind of status quo has that kind of power to control who's going to file under the opposite party? You can go read this story. This is all up there. So for Breanne Davis, who's running against Bob Bailey, who has all the status quo, Michael Lamro, John Burris, lobbyist support, Bruce Hawkins, all these people, Bruce Hawkins who gave that $30,000 loan to Jake Files, by the way. She's got all of these people's support. I want everybody to understand the environment you're going into. I don't even think Breanne Davis knows. Yeah, she may have had some, she may have enjoyed meeting Asa Hutchinson, and they may be friends because there's pictures of Asa and her, embracing one another on their Facebook page, and that's all well and good. But I don't even think some of these people who are now being recruited as puppets for the establishment really understand the kind of environment you're going into down there. These people are very powerful. When you have somebody going on record saying they were offered a bribe of money, how much is it going to take? That's what you get down to. In the halls of the Marble Palace, come on, how much money? Just give me a figure, give me a number. How much is it going to take to get your vote, to vote yes? And Richard Womack said when he was actually offered the bribe, that's when he realized, he was on the fence. That's when he actually realized, oh, wow, I'm obviously going to vote no. Because this whole thing stinks if they're willing to pay people to do it. What kind of power is that? We can control whether somebody's going to file in the Democrat primary or the Democratic election, and you're a Republican, and you won't have any issues for we'll say 2-3 election cycles. How's that sound? How's that sound, Richard? And if it happened to him, you know it happened to other people. Richard's the only one that ever went public and said what happened. I wish we would have known. I wish we'd have gotten a lobbyist name. I wish we would have actually gotten a name out of it. That's my only criticism there, is because that's a crime. That's a crime. What happened there is a crime. What is described in that is a crime. But hey, guess what? I bet they'll never approach him again. I bet they've never approached him again for anything, and that's a good thing. I don't think you people understand what you're getting into. This special election in District 16 is huge. It's huge. And the mainstream media right now, under the direction of Asa Hutchinson of the Marble Palace establishment, they are coordinating an attack against Bob Bailey, and they are actually trying to get you to think that his Facebook posts and the idea of a Senator Bob Bailey is worse than the idea of more Jake Files, John Woods, Micah Neal, all of these people in the good old boy system, Michael Lamro getting $120,000 in legal fees from a nonprofit funded by lobbyists when they only raised $141,000 that year, and he got 120 of it. That this is all fine. That somehow that is not as bad as putting a Confederate battle flag on your Facebook page. Give me a break. How desperate do they seem right now? They are completely desperate. And I'll tell you one thing. Win or lose, good grief, look at the links that they are going to try to defeat Bob Bailey and trying to put Breanne Davis in there. Look at the lobbyist money. Look at the control they have. In order to coordinate the media to do this, it's the kind of power that you would also have to say, hey, we're going to give you some money to vote for the private option, and we'll guarantee that you won't have an opponent for the next 2 or 3 election cycles. I mean, that's the same kind of power. It's just like, okay, if you can do one, you can do the other. Surely, right? Folks, it's Johnny Cash Friday, and this is Conduit News Radio. You can find out more at conduitnews.com. You can get our podcast. Send this to your friends. Let them know what's going on. Folks who are listening in Russellville, folks who are listening in District 16 right now, I appreciate it so much. And I think the choice is clear. You guys who are listening on KARV 610 AM or 101.3 FM KARV in the River Valley, thank you so much. The rest of you listening across the state, this affects you too. Because these senators who are representing their individual districts, if they support big government, that's going to affect you. If they support limited government and they're able to stop the growth, that's going to be good for everybody who are in the real world outside of the Marble Palace establishment bubble. The fight goes on. We're building a liberty machine, and this is part of it. Can you feel it? Can you feel the truth? We got to go. Johnny Cash Friday, back in a minute.